James, my cereal. You can catch me at the Dara from Monist. Shout out to the Monist gang. Okay, cool. So I've been thinking about where law of attraction principles and issues of societal equality fit in together. And where do people who have been born in poor-stricken countries or negative situations fall into energy work? And while this is like a very complicated topic, I wanted to share a fragment of my thoughts. So what helped me think about this more clearly is the natural law called the law of hypnotic rhythm that Napoleon Hill wrote about in his book Outwitting the Devil. The best way to understand hypnotic rhythm is to explain how nature works. Nature holds everything in perfect balance. This balance more often than not is locked into a predictable repetitive pattern. You always know the sun will rise and set repetitively. You always know you wake up and the sky will be above you, and that the birds will migrate when the seasons change, and that the trees will anchor itself into soil. There's a natural law called hypnotic rhythm that locks repeated patterns to become permanent. At a lower level of analysis of this law, the natural law also affects humans. Think about learning how to play a guitar, for example. At first, you're trying to be aware of every string you pull consciously, right? But when you practice and you repetitively do it over time, it becomes a habit. And hypnotic rhythm locks that permanently within you, and you can play that one song you've been practicing with your eyes closed subconsciously. Rhythm is the last stage of any habit as it makes it permanent. It is in the same way that environments and societies are created. People, for example, who are born in social economic environments where hypnotic rhythm is negative, with the collective consciousness of crime, lack, and poverty, are tightly woven into this environment through rhythm due to multiple reasons such as historical reasons, systematic oppression, so forth and so on. As you are raised in such an environment, you download all the programs, mannerisms, culture, and teachings of the environment and internalize it. What you internalize from the environment gets locked into rhythm, and therefore influences your thinking and your behavior, thus you recreating those conditions into your reality. A lot of studies can support this. There's a psychological phenomenon called the social contagion by Dr. Hilbert Blummer, who shows that human behavior is contagious. We follow each other. So for example, if people start whistling at a concert or at a performance, many others will follow that act, even though those individuals might not believe that whistling is a moral standard behavior to portray in those situations. You become in sync with your environment. Another example to illustrate this is a neuroscientist called Dr. Moran Kerf, who has proven through brain scans that when two people spend a lot of time together, their brain waves begin to look alike. So when you talk to someone, your brain synchronizes with that person you talk to. Brain pulses may line up together. Certain parts of the brain become less or more active with the person you're interacting with. So the point of this is that your thinking is shaped by your society that you're born into. So now when you've learned negative thought patterns and you vibrate negatively, hypnotic rhythm locks you in that environment and recreates those negative conditions into the real world. What I'm saying to you is if you're born in poor-stricken environments, there's a lot of things against you, more than the average person. But what seems obvious to me is that the first thing you need to be concerned with is your mindset. I illustrate this point more clearly in a video I did with Chief Justice Judge Zondo, which I'll leave in the description. He illustrates the poor-stricken environments he was born into and the mindset it would need to lead him to the success that he has now. But to break out of the hypnotic rhythm of your environment, you need to reprogram your subconscious mind and have independent thought. And I'm not going to discuss how to reprogram your subconscious mind here, as I've done that multiple times on this channel, and you can check the links in the description. Now, hypnotic rhythm works both ways, not only for the negative but also for the positive. So if you're born in a better position and you're born in a country not strife with war, then you might consider that you're born with unearned privileges. And I've learned that people who are born with unearned privileges have a responsibility to consciously make an effort to better society to contribute positively to the collective consciousness in their small corners of the world. And that goes for all of us. The first step to bettering society is by fixing your life up, being the best you can be, finding your I am path. If you really put yourself together, you could better your life, your family's life, and the future generations to come. Dr. Jordan Peterson rightfully says that if you meet on average 1,000 people in your lifetime, who in turn meet another 1,000 people in their lifetime, you are one person away from reaching 1 million people and 2 people away from reaching 1 billion people. So your self-growth is not only for you, but for everyone. If you change a grain of sand, you've changed the entire desert. You are not an island. You matter, and everything you do or don't do matters and contributes to the chain of the events within the collective consciousness. There's no escaping that. Last thing I'm going to say to make you reflect of how important your life is. There's a psychological term called the weather effect. The weather effect is a phenomenon that whenever celebrities commit suicide and it's publicized, the suicide rates shoot up. A Korean study showed this, that on average, the number of suicides in a population increased by 16.4% within just one day after reports of a celebrity committed suicide was made public. You matter, and you may not know that, but what you do affects everyone around you. James, my serial, can catch me at the Diary from Honest. If you want to support the channel, there's a $2 link in the description. If you can't monetarily support the channel, please subscribe and like or comment. It goes a long way. Sincere gratitude.